Hello, this video deals with that awkward first day. The kids don't know you, you don't know them. It's all a bit strange for everybody. Research says that you have between 7 seconds and 15 minutes to win over your students. Plato said, the beginning is the most important part of work. Smart guy that Plato. So, it depends what sort of SUL course you're on. But the first things you might be doing are placement testing the incoming students, dealing with the basic admin like completing their names on the attendance record, handing out the student handbook. Probably the first time that you'll get to know the students one-on-one is the speaking part of the placement test. Remember that the student is testing you as much as you're testing them. So be on time, be organised. Use your students' names right from the beginning. Project confidence, authority. Smile, make eye contact, and show some vulnerability. I think authenticity is the greatest attribute a teacher can have. Once the students have been split up into their classes, of course you can begin the fun. Have the whiteboard ready for when your students arrive. Write your name on the board and leave it there for several days. Don't make the students embarrassed that they don't know your name. I always use my first name, but some cultures feel that that's disrespectful, and in this case you should use Mr, Miss or Mrs. You choose. A good starting game is this. I draw the alphabet on the whiteboard and emphasising the letter T. I say, my name is Tim and I'm a teacher. I heavily emphasise the letter T. I have a softball or toy ready and I throw it to a student who looks like they might understand. And I get, my name is Anya and I'm amazing, or my name is Rob and I'm a robber. With pre-intermediate plus classes, you can backtrack through the alphabet. For example, my name's Tim and I'm a really smart teacher. My name's Paul and I'm a nasty old pirate. Once everybody's given their name, throw the ball to another student and ask a question using her name. Scarlett, how many pets have you got? 2 dogs and a fish. Throw the ball, ask a new question. Scarlett will then ask, Philip, where are you from? And so on and so on and so on. Classroom contracts can actually be pretty fun. It's a negotiation between teacher and student to establish the rules for them and you. On our SUL website, there are now 2 versions of the suggested induction lesson with a lesson plan and a worksheet. There's a real benefit to revising the modal verbs for obligation and permission. They're not always straightforward to lower level students. The newer lesson plan also focuses on the general rules that you'll find around the campus. Now, after the class have all signed the contract, it goes up on the wall. Students can't really be upset if you pull them up on rules that they've decided upon. The thing is, there must be rules for the teacher too. Must play games, must choose interesting topics, can't smoke on campus, has to be early for every lesson, must talk to us outside the class. You negotiate these rules. If you sign the contract, you've got to follow the rules too. Now, a SUL course is not a long course. And if we're honest, you can't make a massive improvement over a week or 2. A full needs analysis is yet more paperwork, and who has the time? But it might be worth asking the students what their priorities are. One way of doing this is to give them a deck of index cards, or just scrap paper, with some priorities written on them. Students are welcome to add more of their own to the mix. Then you put the class into small groups. Ask them to discuss each priority and put them in order. the things that the students want to focus on should be at the top of the pile, and the areas which interest them less to the bottom. Encourage them to disagree and give opinions, and this gives you a chance to walk around the room silently and listen to what the class is saying. Pick up some examples of typical errors. Make notes of a selection of these errors, then write them on the whiteboard. Students can work out together and correct their errors in groups or pairs. The thing with a needs analysis is you've got to pay attention to the results. If you ask the kids and they say they want lots of physical activities and no grammar, then you've got to listen to them. But then you have to slide in the grammary bits without them noticing. Tell you what, have a look at Grammaring and Scott Thornbury on YouTube. There's always ways to slide grammar into your syllabus, like I have to sneak vegetables into my 8-year-old daughter's diet. This is what I call jigsaw reading. You take a copy of 2 versions of the same text. Now see how I've blanked out certain information on this page of our student handbook. Up here, down here, using Tip-X or a black pen. Now here's the same text but with different parts blanked out. A higher level class can pair up student A and student B, and they ask each other questions to find out the missing information. Here, the sentence is obviously explaining the length of the lessons. So the student should ask his partner, how long are the lessons? The answer is 45 minutes long, and the student will write 45 into the blank space. For lower level students, you will have to give prompts like supplying the question word. You could also match all the student A's together and get them to write the questions. Student B's do the same with their different version of the text, and then pair them up, A, B, and they take turns in asking each other questions. It's really important that the students A and the students B don't get to see each other's different version of the text. Now, isn't this a great way to make sure that all students read at least part of their handbook? If you've got the time and the energy, you could give 2 versions of a different page of the handbook to each pair, and then the pair can ask each other questions and report back to the class what they've learned about their course at SUL. This also kills a lot of time. I always kick off a new class with this. I choose 5 or so numbers which are important to me and I write them on the board. Why are these numbers important to me? I ask the class. Ask me questions. The students get 2 or 3 minutes in pairs to plan a few questions, while I stand to one side and smile. Then it's a Q&A session. They can ask me whatever they think is the correct question. If they get it right, give them a point. If they get the grammar of the question wrong, this is a chance for some gentle elicitation and recasting to fix things. Here are the correct questions, but there's an extra question that I threw in. See if you can match the questions to the numbers. Now this is end of part 1. We'll continue in part 2.